You are. Oh.
Welcome in everyone to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell, and DK's in the background running the show. And we got a lot to talk about today, Jimbo. We got days 2 and day 3 of mandatory minicamp to discuss. But before we get into it, who is our sponsor for this episode?
Of course, as always, our proud sponsor, BetOnline, is your number one source for all sports gambling that's going on right now, but certainly the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals this season, and right now are at the top of the list. Saw a great comeback attempt by the Dallas Mavericks last night to try and get a win off. But every stat, every matchup, and every and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played, which I think is really cool because everything can change at a moment's notice. When the game is over, the fun doesn't stop. Head over to their online casino and get in on a game of blackjack, poker, unwind with some slots. They got over 150 slot games. And so go ahead and head to the website today, get in on the action. And when you do so, use the promo code BLEAV, 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 and you'll get 50%. You'll get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So you get mashed up to 50%. BetOnline, the game starts here, ladies and gentlemen.
That is right. That is right. Day 3, like we mentioned, of minicamp ended today. So we are starting that period of time where it's between the end of mandatory minicamp and the start of training camp, where there's a bit of a downtime at the facilities, right? No players are going to be there for the next 30 days. But let's finish up covering what we saw these last couple days, Jimbo. Day 2 was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a few new absences to the list here. I wanted to quickly just go over the day 2 absences. Keaton Mitchell, no surprise. Deontay Hardy, still hoping everything turns out well for him and his family.
Certainly.
New addition to the absence list is Nick Samac, the young rookie guard / center. I think mainly center. I think or maybe guard. He was absent today. Not sure what the issue was. Adisa Isaac continues to miss. Kyle Hamilton with the cleanup to the elbow continues to miss. Another new absence, Marlon Humphrey out today. Coach described him as dealing with nagging injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something you want to hear is nagging injuries through the first mandatory camp. How can you have nagging injuries, Jimbo, when you haven't done anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes me wonder what he was doing in the offseason and how he ended last year. Kind of what's going on there. I'm not 100% sure how to take it. I mean, obviously just want him to be healthy, but it's just a weird thing.
Yeah, a bit frustrating. Matthew, the cornerback, and Nichols, the D lineman, continue to miss as well.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say is that it might be some of, what am I trying to say? Pacing himself, right? Because Marlon always goes crazy at camp. He always has a hard camp. It's the only way he knows how to do things. And so maybe if you let him, hit the brakes a little bit right now, it helps that ramp up period, when camp comes along. You just trust him to be ready by the time it gets here.
Good point. Yep. Could be that. Hopefully they're holding him back. But man, he needs to try and stay healthy this year. That's for sure. It's a big year for him. Big year for the secondary, and he would help. But it looks like we're mainly going to be talking about what we heard from the pressers, but did want to go over some of the highlights that we saw today and some of the reports coming out of the performance of the players. Looks like practice yesterday was a better day for the offense. Apparently, Tylan Wallace, Malik Cunningham were the biggest target getters in the offensive side. Wallace had a couple drops, but I'm seeing a lot of hype surrounding Isaiah Likely. Maybe it was just his turn after we heard the Mark Andrews hype. Now, second straight day highlight reel catch, has a one-handed touchdown catch. Apparently, him and Kohler were both heavily involved and active today as pass catchers. I got a sneaky feeling that Isaiah Likely could end up being could end up becoming one of our, if not our leading touchdown receiver, because of what I've been hearing today. I've been hearing lately, and this is early in camp, but big time target in the red zone, Jimbo, and we know the target that Andrews provides, but also the attention that he's going to receive. So could Isaiah Likely end up becoming a guy who maybe even catches, maybe not more catches, more yards than Mark Andrews, but could develop himself into maybe a even better red zone target because the attention.
This is what I think about your take, Glenn.
Let me say, rainy day. All right,
dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it, man. I think that what's happening right now is camp. You're loose. You're able to expand your horizons a little bit. But what happens when tensions get high, right? What do? You go back to Old Faithful.
Okay.
Right? It's like 8 to 89.
But isn't the defense going to say,
it
where are
don't
they
matter.
going? They're going to Faithful.
It doesn't matter.
Well, it might matter when you're playing one of the better teams.
Maybe. But,
yeah,
I think chances are Mark leads the team in touchdowns if he plays all games, right? But
Receiving.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that what I said?
You said in touchdowns. I think that's going to be
receiving touchdowns. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Because Derrick Henry most likely will. Yeah. But yeah, I understand your point, and I hope that what we need to figure out is how we just highlight both of their abilities, right? Like, how do we Venn diagram this thing where we're getting the best out of both of them and not like a ton out of one and none out of the other and suppressing one. You know what I'm saying?
Hold one back, maybe.
That is what they've got to That's what they've got to figure out to do. But I got to be honest with you. It would take a lot, I think, for Lamar to take his eyes off of Mark and end up, hitting Isaiah more times in the red zone. Woo! Out on a limb there, Glenn.
Hey, I'm not going out there yet, but I'm looking at that limb. I'm thinking about it.
No, it's fair. I think your point is valid to like the attention that Mark is going to get, right? Because outside of Mark, who is your best red zone target? It's probably Isaiah, just simply based on size and catch radius, right?
Yeah.
Now I would also say it's really hard to stay close to Zay anywhere on the field.
It's true. In a phone booth.
You know what I mean? Like he could have a 5 square feet and he's going to get 5 feet of separation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
he's just that good. Yeah.
But ultimately I think it's still Mark. Okay. I like it though. I like it.
Yeah. Let's just hope that Monken finds a way. Cause oftentimes we just kind of go, oh, they're going to find a way to get these guys on the field, but it's not always the case. And I just hope that he, finds a way to work both those guys into it.
There's just one thing I want to say about the tight end group, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. I don't know how I ended up seeing some things from Kittle today and some things about Travis Kelce, but man, it still really bothers me that, like, to me, the tight ends are a 3-headed monster in the NFL, and you cannot exclude Mark from that list.
Well, I don't even know if it's a 3-headed anymore. I think there's just so many good ones out there that, Mark does get excluded, but I don't know if it's just 3 anymore.
That's true. There's a lot of good ones. You're right. I mean, Laporta came on the scene last year, and there's a ton of good ones. But man, I just don't know how you don't leave Mark. How would you, like, he's a footnote in the tier 1 guys. I feel like in conversation, it's like,
no, he is, and it's probably because the attention those guys get, not only because Travis Kelce's with Taylor Swift, but also Kittle is in that upcoming Netflix series, Receivers.
Oh, right.
He's one of them, even though he's not a receiver, but he is pass catcher. But yeah, he's one of the stars. So I'm assuming it's more than just what they do on the field. And let's be honest, Mark isn't the most
Mark doesn't care.
Yeah,
he just doesn't care.
He's a football player and all that other stuff.
Yeah, and DK said it, the injury hurt last year, of course, as well.
Good point.
But I think that it is fair to say that Mark's carried just as much of a load as Travis Kelce in moving moving the needle from a passing standpoint in our offense.
Yeah.
Kittle, I think, has, not that he hasn't, but he just hasn't had to bear the same burden as those two. But Mark no less than Travis Kelce.
Right.
And in other seasons, like when they had what's his name? Moore. When they had Cheetah, what's his name?
Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill. I mean, who was Mark running with back then?
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole, but it just still frustrates me, man.
Yeah, a couple of other news and notes coming out of day 2 of minicamp. Trenton Simpson had a solid practice, had some tackles for loss.
I heard Coach use the word perfect when talking about Trenton Simpson.
Dude, he's been turning a lot of heads. I mean, even teammates, when not directly asked about him, but asked to name a guy, they've been bringing this guy up. This guy he is turning heads of his teammates and of his coaches. Let's just hope that this continues to play out the way, that we're hoping when the pads come on and when the contact is live and the bullets are flying. But yeah, apparently he not only had a couple tackles for loss, but also had some excellent coverage on the running backs out of the backfield, which, man, I just think this guy has so much potential if he just gets it. We just don't know how he's going to be as far as consistency, play in and play out, taking on those guards, dealing with the dealing with the physical demands of that position. But if he can, man, that explosiveness, that quickness, man, he could be really, really special. And you put him next to a guy like Roquan, holy smokes.
Yep.
That's a tough group. But also McCary left the field today, halfway through practice, didn't return, but did walk off the field with trainers.
Yeah, not concerned.
It's probably the back, dude. It's always the freaking back with that guy. And I'm going to get into some comments from Joe D about him later on, which I found interesting. But also, no interceptions from Lamar yesterday. It was apparently a consistent pitch and catch routine at times with his pass catchers. And by the way, shout out to Kyle Phoenix or Kyle Barber on Twitter for helping us out with these news and notes, among others. But yeah, easy money for Lamar Jackson. Didn't see Rashad Bateman in the second half of practice for 11-on-11s. Not sure what was going on. But apparently it was a lot of Wallace Aguilar and Malik Cunningham.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting to see, you're talking about the wide receiver group, and it's going to be interesting to see how this thing breaks down. I mean, we're going into this break, right? And then obviously we'll come back and think, ammo bullets will be live, but, I'm the other thing you talked about, the pre-snap stuff, I'm excited about. I'm excited to see that live and in camp and things like that. But I think this wide receiver group, these pass catchers have an opportunity to be special. I really do. I think we have a special group. And then DK just added, Zerbiak said Bateman was busy during the time he was out there, though. So that's
call him Wally Zerbiak.
Oh, dude, I've done that before. Zrebeck. I've done that before. You remember this?
Yeah.
You remember old Wally Zerbiak?
Oh, dude? I do, man.
Isn't that guy coaching somewhere now?
Last I saw, he was covering college basketball during the tournament.
Okay, didn't he play at Marquette? Wasn't he at Marquette?
Oh man, dude. I'm not sure where he played in college.
I think he did. Anyway, wow, I'm showing my age. Half of you people don't even know who that is.
No.
Recognizable
name though. You don't forget Wally Zerbiak.
No, but that was back in the day when I used to play whatever video game basketball was on Sega. Like the second Sega. What was it called?
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast. The worst system ever on the face of the planet.
Yep.
Terrible. Guess what? I had it. That's probably why my disdain for video games comes from Dreamcast. Thanks.
Thanks to Dreamcast. But I did want to get into some of the quotes from the press conferences we saw. And I got to get your take on this because Joe D, I love listening to Joe D talk. He doesn't always say a ton, even though he says a lot of words. But look, he's been coaching a long time. He knows what he's doing. But he did say, and this kind of surprised me, Faalele's doing some right guard work as well as right tackle. Not just right tackle. Now, he did say he moves guys a lot this time of year because he says that, if you can play more positions, you stay in the league longer. So it's good for the team, good for the player. But
let's see how many snaps guys are taking at left tackle.
Well, that's a good point.
It's because the position's wide open. But look, either way, whether it's Ben or Faalele, we're going to have a huge human being play right guard. Unless, of course, it's McCary. He just beats them both for the spot.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because Joe D did say he views McCary as a starter. But here, they wanted him to focus on being the primary backup to all five positions. He says it's so rare to find a guy who can literally play all five positions. And not just can do it, but can do it at a pretty high level. But then goes on very soon after that to say this, Jimbo, that Joe D believes that you find a way to get your best five guys on the field. And sometimes your backup right guard is better than your backup right tackle. And so if your right tackle gets hurt, you find a way to get that backup right guard on the field is basically his philosophy. So how can you in one sentence say you view McCary as a starter, but you want him to focus on being this super backup? But then the very next says he's old school. He believes you get your best five on the field. Did he contradict himself here, Jimbo, or am I crazy?
Well, the contradiction will come once that starting lineup is out there. You know what I mean? Because if I agree with this, we've talked about this a lot. I think that you and I are of the same ilk that like the best five are what you need out there because it's a unit, right? Like a true team is the offensive line. I mean, they have to work together. And so you just simply get your best five out there. You try and respect positions, of course, as much as you can. But especially when you're talking the interior of the line, man, I'd love to see McCary out there. It doesn't scare me to not have him, in that backup role. I think that There's other guys we can just fill in as backups. But how long do you set? Do you allow for a luxury potentially to not play?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do we have that ability to do that? I don't think
Are you
so. I don't
that
think
good on the offense.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but what would you be surprised if McCary comes in and just is the right guard day one?
I think if he's the right guard, then that would be a huge indictment on Ben Cleveland, right? Like that would be a failure on Ben Cleveland. To be in year 3, this isn't like this is his rookie year. Then you kind of go, all right. But this is year 3 in an offense that seemingly fits his skill set better than, well, I guess maybe not. Maybe it doesn't fit his skill set because he is a bigger, slow-footed guy. Sure. Maybe he is more set for and McCary is a smaller guy. But the only thing is the question I have about McCary, and I don't necessarily know if we can get the answer without it being a horrible situation, is can his back and can his body hold up as a starter? And I don't think the coaches believe that it can.
I think he can do. I think he can. I don't know. I could be wrong. I guess the boys are bigger on the inside, but for some reason, I think he would have more success holding up on the inside.
Well, he'd have more help.
Yeah, and I feel like his range of motion would be a bit more limited in comparison to having to be on an island.
For sure.
But at the same time, you're dealing with monsters.
They're so big out in the inside. They're so big.
And if you're not the only reason that Linderbaum is so good is because he's a master of leverage.
Right.
Just absolute master of leverage. But
he's built. If you just look at those two guys next to each other, he's built different. Like he's got a thick lower half on him. Like McCary has kind of his football pants are a little baggy in the ass. Like you know what I mean?
Like that Morgan Moses.
Yeah, man. He don't have Linderbaum's a little shorter, but he's got some tree trunk thick legs and a big ass. Like I don't know. Like McCary just doesn't look like a very physically, strong against his peers, of course. Against me,
sure. It's relative, right? Like if he stood next to me, he'd look like Shrek, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. But I did find that interesting that Joe D's comments how he views him as a starter, but you're a backup here.
But look, this is how it will end up working out. This is how it will end up working out to where he's not contradicting himself either way. Ben Cleveland will be the starter, and then he will get hurt.
And then
McCary will come in and play and become the starter, right? Like,
okay, both can be right. Yeah,
and DK, correct us if we're not wrong. This is Ben Cleveland's 4th year.
Oh, is it his 4th? Oh,
so it's a contract year. This is just like Ben
Powers. Yeah.
Powers. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, we also heard from T. Martin, quarterback coach of your Baltimore Ravens. And he said that they're going to continue and they've added more to Lamar's plate when it comes to responsibility, changing routes, changing protections, changing the run schemes, making sure that the offense gets into the right play. Says this time of year, he doesn't mind seeing mistakes that if he's going to give the keys to a Ferrari, he don't want to see you out there driving 30 miles an hour. And I love that. Let's zing the ball. Let's see what you got in practice and not just don't play conservative in practice.
Yeah, practice is the time to make mistakes. That's the beauty of it. Now, Lamar's in a great spot because if you're an undrafted guy at the edge of the roster, it's like, how many mistakes can I go out there and make?
I know.
But being the position that he's in, right? Like, go out there, make your mistakes, so that way you get it right out on the field. That's just exciting stuff. I think we're going to get this a little bit, but just kind of broach the subject. Steve Young talked about the evolution of Lamar Jackson, the need for the Baltimore Ravens to allow him to evolve as a elite passer of the football schematically as much as just the physical portion of it, right? Like being able to give him the scheme and the keys to go out there and get it done. So this just lends right to that. I mean, I think that I'm really excited. Look, Steve Young, I think a lot of us can trust him as an eye for quarterbacks. Said Lamar, he believes can be, the GOAT, right? Can be one of the best player of all time, right? So that's huge praise for a guy.
And he doesn't just say that about, He doesn't just pick a guy and say that every year. This is
right.
That's
I mean, we're talking about a super competitive guy himself. You think he wants to go out there and just, no, he's not one of those guys. It just throws around the word greatest of all time, the phrase greatest of all time.
Yeah, he certainly hypes him up. Also, T. Martin. I'm sorry. Also, we heard from Willie Taggart on the press conferences, and he was surprised at Derrick Henry in that, his want to learn at this part in his life, all that he's accomplished, all that he's already done in his career. He didn't think this guy would be in there texting him when he's on his off time to try and learn more, mad at himself like at every mistake, like he's a young and up and coming guy. That's the part that surprised him. And honestly, he said, I thought this was kind of interesting. He said he kind of questioned, didn't really know the fit would be perfect until he saw the guy and saw his feet, saw his ability to work, and says now that, he has no doubts that he can not only work in this system, but probably any system. Was very, very happy with what he was seeing out of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about something the other day when I was talking to a friend about my pastime, and that would be running. And like, you have to want something bad enough to suck at it. Right. And like, not saying that Derrick Henry will ever suck at anything, but that's what makes him great. That's just a big part of what makes him great. He's willing to have like the beginner's mindset, like the novice mindset, to where like, okay, I don't know everything. I don't know anything about this offense. You know what I mean? To go in there and say, hey, help me, teach me, let me sponge all this so that way I can go out there and be the best me. That says a lot about a guy, man. There's guys that get to a certain age in any career you're in, and they're like done learning.
Yeah.
But that's what makes people, I think that's what, a lot of what sets some people apart. Are you willing to go in there and learn and suck? Because you're going to at first, right? Like, you just are until you get it down. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to seeing what this dude can do. I think he's going to be our most impactful signing in a long, long time.
Yeah. Let's just hope that he gets the ball enough. And of course, you always hope for health and the guys can stay out there. But yeah, it was nice to hear Willie Taggart talking about, all the work that guy's putting in. Cause we heard, we've heard greats come in here and he's a unique guy, but we heard Earl Thomas come in here and his kind of attitude towards meetings and responsibilities. And he's just like, bruh, like, I think his quote he would hit people with is just pull up my tape. Just Google me. Just pull up my tape. Look at my
so annoying to me.
It is. It really is.
Well, it's like, then just retire.
You're like, why are you still here then?
Just retire, or go get a paycheck from someone else. But I don't know. I'm always about trying to do better than I've done in the past.
No doubt.
Not say, well, that was my best and the rest is what you get.
Right.
And
what kind of message does that send to your teammates, to the young guys on the roster? It's like, come on, dude. That's some goofy stuff. But yeah, it's nice to hear, man. I'm just getting it's like, man, this is 30 days or however long it is between now and training camp is going to be, it's going to be long. It's going to be a lot of, I can't wait to see what these news stories are going to be, Jimbo. What are they going to be talking about? Because I tell you what, the Jets are going to be in the storylines. Holy smokes. This guy, Aaron Rodgers is something, man. He's like, look, we got to cut the BS. We got to stick to football. And then he misses every camp. I
don't understand that.
Dude, he's at these, apparently, I don't know. The rumors are that I'm seeing is he's at these political thing. He's very into the political world.
Is he? I thought that maybe he was at like what's the mushroom trip?
The ayahuasca thing?
Yeah, like he was doing something like that, or like
I heard it was political stuff. I don't know. I could be wrong, and that person I saw could be wrong, but
I don't know. All I know is you can't forget. Look, Steve Bisciotti said it to Daniel Wilcox. Remember when he came on our show? He said, the best return on investment you can make on yourself is your performance on the field.
Yep.
You're
a football player, first and foremost, before anything else. Don't lose sight of
Professionally.
Well, of course, yeah. But that's what gives him the platform. If you lose that, then you lose the platform. You lose everything else. But, you got to do it. But also, all right, moving on to day 3 here, Jimbo. Unless you have anything from day
Sorry, the DKs in the New York market is on a full search for Aaron Rodgers.
Dude, it's crazy. Dude,
they're gonna show up like I've been watching way too much Disney. They're gonna show up like the media did in Radiator Springs in Cars.
Dude,
they're gonna find him in the middle of nowhere.
References when I don't know what the hell they are.
Wait, you've never seen Cars?
I may have seen it once in passing, but I didn't sit down.
Anyway, he ends up in a small town off Route 66 that's like abandoned now because there's a main highway. No one goes to town anymore, and he ends up getting stuck there. point is the media shows up and they're like, lightning. It's like all this media where they couldn't find him for like 4 days, whatever. Anyway, you would get it if, I guess, you don't have a child in my kid's age brackets.
He's
at
a
this
little
point.
older. Yeah, he got a little too old. But anyway, let's move on to day 3 here, Jimbo. We did see.
Look, the chat understood what I was saying. Get some love in the chat here. Let's go.
All right, there you go.
Man, you got to brush up, bro. It's a classic.
My bad, bro. My bad.
It's all good.
I'll try and step it up. New absences on day 3 of camp. Nelson Aguilar. Hold
on. Before we get to today, though, do we want to talk about the Lamar comments?
Was that yesterday or today?
Wasn't that yesterday? He wasn't on the podium today, was he?
Right. It was yesterday. Okay. Yeah, and let me just tell you here, Jimbo, what the comments are, and I'll kick it right to you. I want to get your take. But he says, and it was the very last question of his presser. It's like, what is your plans? Are you going to have some guys to work out like we saw with you and Zay? And he says, I would love to. I think we need to, but guys don't want to leave their state, Jimbo, making it sound like he is trying to organize some things, but has some stipulations, or at least just one. You got to come to me. You got to come to South Florida. And some of these guys don't want to show up. I got to imagine one of those guys is Rashad Bateman, because we've never seen, like when we've seen him working with Aguilar, we've seen him working with Zay, Mark Andrews.
It's exactly who it is.
Is that the only guy he's talking about?
Well, Mark's out of state. Yeah. So if Mark doesn't want to go.
But he's been with them in other times,
You know what I mean? And they have clear chemistry. But it has to be Bateman, because Bateman's also in Arizona.
Yeah.
And look, if I'm Bateman, dude, I'm doing everything I can to create that connection with Lamar Jackson, because my career depends on it. You know, but
he already got his extension. He already got 3-year extension, you know?
Yeah, but like it was minuscule for a first rounder. I mean, there's guys that are first rounders that are making more than that 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even Hollywood is making almost that next year. Isn't Hollywood making what, 11 or 12 in 1 year next year?
I think it might be a little less. I think that was what he was expected, but I think he made less, like 9 or 8. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
But my point is that, like, for the longevity of Bateman's career, something needs to happen this year.
Yeah.
Right? Like, something needs to improve. So for me, I also wonder this. Is it an unwritten rule? Like, does Lamar not want to pay for the guys to come out?
That's my question, because we've heard other quarterbacks not only pay for their flight, but also put them up. And
I would pay for everything. I mean, because at this point, what is money? You're never going to run out of it.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately take half of your money.
Well, I mean, he showed that when he gave up that $750K for OTA.
Yeah, you sit it in an IRA and you live off of the 4%, and you would live so wealthily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Live off your returns and just, anyway, that's a whole different, I'm nerding out at this point. But yeah, so my point is that, like, dude, pay for them, put them up at a resort, whatever you got to do. Like, sure, have fun with it. You know what I mean? Make it an event. That's at least what I would do. But I don't know if Lamar wants to pay.
Well, I guess that, I mean, he may have offered that. And maybe Bateman's like, I'd rather stay home. It could very well be the case. But we know Zay will be there. We know that I don't know how much a quarterback and running back have to work together. But Derrick Henry's a Florida guy as well. So maybe we'll see him link up. But, yeah, Bateman has got to do anything he wants, or anything he can, I should say, to get this production level to go up and match kind of what we're seeing in practice, what we're seeing from the
guys don't want to leave their state. That's a bummer.
Yeah, Don C says for the next 30 days, dumb Mike Flores takes. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I just hope, like I mean, all the coaches do. Just nobody getting it, no trouble. You know, nobody staying out too late, doing something. You know, I mean, as I get older, I know one thing. I can't imagine where I'm going to be out past midnight. Like, I just can't imagine it. It feels so wrong.
The other night, we were down at Fells, and it was late. It was something like 8:30 for us, and it was
late.
Yes. Well, like, think about it. We had 2 kids in the car, and it's 8:30. Yeah. We gotta, you know what I mean? Henry's like losing his mind because he's tired as can be, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even remember why we were out that late, but we were like, man, Fells is lit.
And 8:30 it hasn't even gotten started.
Yeah, like normal people
don't even show up at 8:30.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm so ready for bed at 8:30. Look, you guys got me now because it's a show night, not.
That's right. He's usually under the blankets right now. By the way, Hollywood, $3.5 million salary.
What? That's it. That's not the total of his contract.
That's what DK. Hey, are you questioning? DK's questioning you. How dare
$3 million guaranteed, but he gets more. There's incentives in there. There's a bonus. For how much?
Oh, a signing bonus.
See,
Okay.
DK's trying to get me.
Well,
Me
unless that signing bonus is $8 million, you're way off. And I don't think that's the case.
But my point is still valid. Rashad Bateman needs to do something for the sake of his career.
I mean, it's not like he's asking you to go to the Alaska, Antarctica. He's asking you to go to Florida. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you're going to fly first class. He could probably fly. I don't know if he would or not, but he can afford. Rashad Bateman's made pretty good money being a first-round pick and signing a 3-year extension that came with a signing bonus as well. So, if you really want to, there it is, $6.5 million in full guarantees, Jim.
Okay, my point is this: what the heck do you have to lose? What do you lose?
Because he's working. We know he's working, but why not work with your QB1?
And if you want to stay with your team or whoever that is out in Arizona, well, then just ship them with you.
Yeah, bring your team with you.
I just don't get it.
We hear about all these guys. You spending how much? Like, how much does LeBron spend on his body?
$2 million or something like that.
Like, bruh, your body is your investment. I mean, that's your corporation.
Yeah.
Make your money, and the only way you make money is by playing better. So, yeah, interesting that it felt like just his reaction, Jimbo, felt like this is something he's like talked about. Like,
yeah, he's kind of frustrated about.
Right, exactly. 100%.
Well, look, when Bateman doesn't get the ball and he's got bad body language, it's on you.
And we're off by this much. When they're off by this much.
Yep. All right, Glenn,
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing. I got some stuff to talk about. All right, here we go. Lamar Jackson also picked horse racing over F1. I thought that was kind of cool to hear. I was really thinking he was going to say F1. Of course, horse racing in Maryland it's a pretty big deal. I know a lot of people have their own feelings and are against it, and they don't think it's necessarily the best for the horses. But it was kind of interesting to see. He said, "Look, sitting in the seat." He said, "If I could walk around, but sitting at an F1 race and watching all those laps, I don't think it's for him. I don't think he's down for that." But also got some other notes and quotes here as well. I'm going to go through the highlights first, and then I can get to some of the quotes from the pressers that we heard. Let's see. It was a no practice or no helmet practice today. So it was kind of, let's see. They described it as last day of school vibes. Rita's made an appointment today or appearance today, I should say. Rita's Italian Ice. They were smashing on some of that, which was pretty cool. But we did see some interesting things. We saw Kadir Ismail, son of Qadri Ismail, working with the tight ends. Coach wasn't willing to say he's transitioning to a tight end position. He said, look, both those positions do some similar things, of course, being pass catchers. And we wanted to see him work on some of those techniques with those guys. So wasn't willing to say that Kadir is doing a position change, but did work with some tight ends and work on some of those drills today. He apparently had some nice catches, which was nice to see. But let me see here. I also have Kyle Van Noy talk. And I felt like his comments were the most interesting. He said he has higher expectations for Odafe Owe than he does even for himself. Talked about the impressive athlete that he is the fact that he's still so young and just was raving about that guy's talent and work ethic. Found it interesting that he said higher expectations for him than he does even for himself, which I'm sure he expects good things from himself as well. Also went on to say he feels he's been underappreciated throughout his career. And this is the part that I found really interesting. Said that throughout his career, he's been asked to focus on a bunch of different aspects of his position, both playing on-ball linebacker, off-ball linebacker, asked to cover, asked to be a pass rusher, asked to do a lot of things. He said this will be only the third year. 2019 was the first. Then 2023 and then 2024 are the only 3 years in which he can be a pure pass rusher, focus only on pass rush. Jimbo, were you at all surprised? Because I looked at Kyle Van Noy as a guy who him coming back was great because of the versatility he brings. Like, we're not having Bowser. We love Bowser because of his ability to affect the game in multiple different ways, cover, rush the passer, do everything. Seems like Kyle Van Noy is pretty happy just being a pass rusher now, and that's his role. Were you surprised to hear that?
No, I don't think I was surprised. I had to make sure I answered this question correctly. I don't think I was surprised. I think the way that he's framing it is that like that's the way that I see it, or I'm choosing to see it, is that's just a priority, right? Like the other stuff is already there, but he doesn't need to learn new things. So if those other responsibilities are needed, of course he can jump into those roles, but it's really about just being solely focused on being a pass rusher, where before, earlier on his career and schematically, he had to learn and hold a responsibility for other things, where now just do this. If we need you for this other stuff, obviously we know you can do that stuff. So I like it. I'm happy for him. Obviously he was effective last year. Wasn't that his career high in sacks?
Oh yeah, and his second highest career sack total was in 2019. The other year, he said he was able to focus on being a pass rusher.
So let's go. Let's get it done. Kyle Van Noy is one of the few Cougars that I like, and I'm glad we got him.
Well, there's one that you like a lot, right?
Who's that?
Your wife?
Yeah, but I mean, like athletes.
Okay.
Like,
right.
yes,
You're
of course.
Who? I forgot.
Yeah, but I was referencing.
I'm texting
guys in the NFL, obviously.
Now I got to get your take on this. I mentioned it while you were away. The Kyle Van Noy raved about Odafe Oweh. Raved about him, Jimbo. Said his expectations for Oweh are higher than those for himself. Right. Are you still see it to believe it type? Are you?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. I mean,
no matter hype, you're not buying it. Okay.
No. I've been off the Odafe hype train, not the ability train, since Wink tried to compare him to Reggie White.
Yeah.
Like let's let the kid play some ball. And then come back to me when bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Sneezing in bunches over there. DK is funny. He's like, she's a cougar, all right?
Yes, she is.
That's funny. Oh, yeah, it's a good time. But wouldn't she have to be older than me to be a cougar?
No, she just has to be a certain age, dude. And she's over 30, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm over 30. We're only 5 months apart. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I don't know what the rule cutoff is, but I think it's just age. I don't think.
I thought a cougar was a woman that goes after younger men. See, I don't know any
No,
of these
you're
cool
right.
things.
I think you're right, actually. I don't know. That's what we're really learning is I don't know.
That's what I don't either. Like, dude, I'm so out of it. Anyway, but no, dude, you gotta wait and see for Odafe. I don't want to hear, say, or hear, say. Yeah, I just don't want to hear anything about it. I just want to see it. Like, I'm tired of it. I'd read. There you go. Like, I'm tired of the reports. Odafe's doing great in OTAs. Yeah, with no pads and no one in front of him. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no knock on Odafe, but we just have to see, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what else there is to. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. He's got it. He's got to do it. Oh, damn. Hold on. DK, did you say that? Oh, man. That's risky. That's risky, bro. That is risky. I disagree, by the way, even though Tiny can't see what that comment was.
Yeah.
I don't know if we said on the show. What?
You know how many more wrinkles I have on? Like,
yeah, man.
Got the widow's peak. What's this thing called? The crow's feet, whatever.
Yep.
See, dude. Yeah. My face is going to look like Catcher's Mitt in
about
very
15
young
years. Tanya's very young looking. Very young looking.
You hear that, babe? I don't think she's watching the show right now.
She's probably not, but it's just the truth. I'm not kissing arse. I don't think we said. I think we said it before the show started. That Calais Campbell did sign.
Oh, you're right.
A free agent did sign a contract. I'm sorry, with the Dolphins. So the 37-year-old will be joining the Miami Dolphins, and no reunion here in Baltimore. I know some fans, myself included, were kind of hoping that there would be a reunion, but it looks like he's taking his talents to South Beach.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was getting a little optimistic about a reunion, but I just hope that it works out for. I know he's after a ring, and I get it. I don't know if you get it in Miami.
Well, he certainly wasn't going to get it in Atlanta.
Right. Got to get out of Atlanta. If it were up to me, I think likelihood. And look, I'm biased, but you come back to Baltimore because Baltimore has a winning pedigree. A coach has a winning pedigree. I don't look. Everyone thinks that what's his name, McDaniel. McDaniel, is that what it is? Yeah. Anyway, he's the new flavor of the week, but we don't know yet, right? You know what I mean? They haven't beaten any really good teams. Even last year, they had a good season relatively, but
they lost all the good teams.
Yeah, didn't we demolish them like 50 something?
It was horrible.
It was like a basketball score and like
It was like when the men's under 18 basketball team plays Cuba's under 18
right.
men's, like it's
like
in the
FIBA,
tunnel. You see the tunnel
where they go
like,
see U.S. and Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Puerto Rico. It was so, dude. It's like they're not gonna play each other, are they?
Right.
Yeah. It was absolutely, I guess, but
yeah, that's true. I don't
Miami this far away because I think Campbell wants to go to a team that's that far away. And man, I tell you what, I just saw, I think Greg Cosell, who I really respect his opinion on football, and he's, obviously been doing it for a long time. He as nicely as you could put it, did not seem like he really believes in Tua Tagovailoa. Like, he's a timing guy, system guy, but he's like, but there's limits to his game because his talent just won't let him to go past it. Like, damn. He just threw it in like it was nothing. Like, yeah, he's not that good. So I don't know. I always say go to the quarterback, man. Go to the quarterback. He went last year to Atlanta. Who is their quarterback? He should have stayed in. They're probably better this year with Kirk Cousins.
Right. Yeah, both of their options, even if Kirk Cousins get hurt, is probably better than who they had last year under center.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, that's weird, but Dolphins are obviously better than the Falcons are.
For sure. He's just heading in the right direction. Don C says, did you guys see Project Pat on Greenlight Podcast call out the play calling about not running the ball in KC, the KC debacle? Yeah, I saw that. But the only thing I saw was, and maybe I missed something because I was really just reading the transcript. I guess I shouldn't say I saw it. I read it. He just said, we obviously should have ran the ball more, but that's up to the coaches, not up to me. I didn't see him get too much into it other than that, unless I missed something.
Yeah, that's all I saw as well, as him just say we should have ran the ball more, which no surprise there.
Yeah, and he's not going to get himself in the doghouse or saying something like that because it's as clear as the day is. I mean, it's clear as crystal, right? Like everybody knows we should have ran the ball more.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, guys, Tua was an MVP candidate, guys. Don't forget that.
Yeah, Dak was also an MVP candidate last year after he beat the Seahawks by 1 in overtime.
He did have good numbers until he played a good team.
Dude, I lost my mind when Dak had better odds at that time than Lamar Jackson for his overtime win over the Seahawks after we absolutely dismantled the Seahawks. We made them look like nothing.
Yeah, it was bad.
And Dak gets anyway, don't get me started on MVP odds. Come on. Gosh.
I'm done with the MVP award, dude.
Yeah, I don't even care.
Yeah, nobody cares. Super Bowl, that's all we care about. I mean,
right.
Look, I'll probably end up by season's end going, why isn't Lamar in the top 10 of the rankings? It's bullshit. So maybe I shouldn't say that, but
no, but I understand your point. It's like, look, we already know what Lamar is from a value perspective. There's nothing else to prove.
Well, what do you think about CMC getting the cover of Madden? He got cover of Madden. You agree with it?
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't want any Madden curses coming our way.
Yeah, I don't
take it.
Right. Yeah.
You can have it,
dude. Have your take that and your I'm not gonna say it.
Look, we saw what happened when we played him last year. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. He's got to work on getting. Have you seen him in the Lowe's commercial? He's got to get them plugs back there, dude.
Is it getting bad? That's not nice, Jimmy. That's not nice.
Yeah, statistically, if you keep it by 30, you're good for the rest of your life.
Statistically, obviously not well, then we're good.
Right, we're good, dude.
We're golden, bro. I'm almost 40.
That's right, baby.
About here.
I'm good. When I heard that, I was like, all right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Set. Yeah, DK says, yep, he's got the Madden cover. Lamar does. He's got the MVPs.
Right.
One thing he needs to get next. That's right. Super Bowl MVP is the only thing I'm sure that's on his mind right now. Also, Marcus Williams, very dodgy about the injury question. Says he doesn't remember what his injury was last year. Said he had 2 working arms. Yeah, wasn't trying to address it, Jimbo.
Hey, I'm okay with it. It could just be a mental
It didn't happen.
thing.
It didn't happen.
Right, it's just selective amnesia. Just look, if your brain says it didn't happen to your body, it didn't happen.
Okay, that's one way of doing it.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Okay, just say it didn't happen. What are you talking about?
Just keep yelling at yourself. You're never tired when you're tired.
Okay, but injuries are real.
They are real.
And he couldn't lift his arm.
And he could not lift his arm. He was one of the best volleyball players ever out there. That dude would have, I mean, how many interceptions? I can think of 3 instances where he got there early and just swatted it.
I mean, look, if Derek Mason can play wide receiver with one working arm, then I think we can have a guy play safety. I mean, what are we talking about?
All right.
You know? But
right.
yeah, it was interesting to watch him dodge.
So DK said it might be strategic because he wasn't on the injury report later on. And
interesting.
So, yeah.
Because they could get fined for that. The team could get
most
fined.
likely. Yeah.
So is he just a team guy? Is that all we saw was just, hey, coach, I got you. What injury?
Right.
I love that, dude. I would like him even more, bruh.
Oh, well, I mean, look, you already know his pedigree, dude. Of course he's a team guy.
Oh, here we go. Let's
go, baby.
What could I expect from a Ute, Jimbo?
That's right, dude. I mean, come on, you know he rides for his team, dude.
Yeah,
That's funny. Somebody just said that's called CTE.
Don't say that.
Did you see the chick that roasted Brady and was like, Grunk, you were the first person born with CTE?
Dude, that was the best one. That was a good line, dude.
Oh, that was good.
Born with CTE. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. Wait, I did want to touch on a couple things before we wrap up, though.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you haven't seen it, check out that speech from Tom Brady, man.
Yes.
Just let yourself get goosebumps, man. Whoa.
Right. No, absolutely. But I did want to talk about a tweet from Jeff today that
Jeff Zerbiak.
Yeah, exactly. That Kadir was working out with the tight ends today.
Oh, yeah, I did say that while you were going.
Did you?
Yep, but it's okay. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
He wasn't willing to say he's doing a tight end, a position change, I should say. He just said he's working with the tight ends. You know, they're all pass catchers, just working on some techniques. So I mean, he would have to put on quite a few LBs, but he's got the frame to do it.
Yeah.
So hey, why not try it out? See what happens.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we've seen more quarterbacks, whether in college or high school, go to tight end than potentially wide receiver. I mean, I think of Logan Thomas, right? Wasn't he a quarterback?
Yeah, and who else?
Way back in the day, Travis Kelce was a high school quarterback and just didn't make it at Cincy as a quarterback.
I saw a receiver, Matt. I remember Matt Jones, the quarterback, the wide receiver quarterback for the Jaguars. I remember.
Dude, wasn't Jason Kelce recruited as a running back?
Was he
in college? Like,
well, you got to remember, in high school, these guys were all probably
right. You play every position. You just do, right.
They're freaks.
Yeah. But still, that's pretty funny, right?
That's crazy, dude.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. Right. DK says, does that mean he doesn't have the speed to keep up as a wide receiver? Potentially. Darren Wallen was a wide receiver who transitioned to tight end in Baltimore and obviously had tons of success before. Who knows what's going on with poor Darren Waller these days?
Did you guys hear his song?
No. Is it dark?
No, it's bad.
Oh, okay. But it's not
like
dark.
To have that much production value and to still turn out bad.
I just hope that he's still clean.
Well, he seems like he's clean. He just seemed like he was, going through some things with his ex-wife now, and he wrote like a song about it. And
yeah, I just hope he doesn't fall off the wagon. That's all.
Yeah, well, he certainly has the resources to make sure that doesn't happen. He made that contract. He hit that big one, Jimbo. He hit the big one. So let's hope he keeps himself straight. But yeah, apparently he wants to transition to a musician.
Won't be the first. Won't be the last. One of my buddies said it best. All musicians want to be athletes. All athletes want to be musicians.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
The athletes have the money musicians act like they have, and musicians have the clout that athletes want.
Wow. Wise words.
I mean, it's true, right? Like, I mean, athletes make so much more money than musicians. It's just wild. It's the upper echelon.
Yeah, it's so tough nowadays to make money as a musician, it seems, unless you have a good tour and you can sell out.
Right.
Apparently that's how you make it, because the streaming, that ain't getting it done. Holy smokes.
No.
They're not making anything off the stream.
And anyway, I'm not becoming a patron of anybody's tour anytime soon. So it's tough, man. It's tough to make a living out there these days.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But is there anything else I missed here, Jimbo?
No, man. I think we are good.
I think we are good. Now, guys, we still got a bunch of videos that we're going to be coming to you guys with in preparation for training camp. We'll break down the positional battles, who's fighting for how many positions are really up for grabs, how many of those 53 roster spots are really available when you're talking about 90 guys fighting for just 53 spots. It's going to get interesting. We got hopefully some good guests coming up on the horizon here. We'll certainly reach out to some of our friends around the business here and see if we can get some pretty cool guests lined up. But don't take a 30-day break like the players are taking. Yeah. Stick with us. We'll keep you up to date, ramped up.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, we're going to have I think I mentioned this, but we're going to do some really cool things in this 30-day break. So we'll have some cool announcements, have some things coming up. I'm not going to spoil it, but you got to turn notifications, got to turn on your, your notifications, subscribe, all those things, because in the next 10 days or so, we'll have some pretty cool announcements for you guys to get even more content from us. And so I'm excited. So stay tuned and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.